Now, the big question right now that's being asked, and especially that was asked at Africa Utility Week, is nuclear energy the answer to Africa's energy problems? And this is a subject that has been met with much contention over the past years as scientists across the world continue to search for potential options for new sources of electricity supply. But what are the pros and cons of using nuclear energy? Now, this morning we're joined in studio by the Managing Director of the Nuclear Industry Association of South Africa, Ntate Knox Msebenzi, who was also a speaker at the recent Africa Utility Week conference. Thank you very much for joining us this morning, sir.
It's a pleasure.
So let's talk about nuclear energy and in how far it can be applied as an answer to Africa's energy problems.
Africa has got a huge deficit in energy or in power supply, electrical power supply. We are probably the least, the poorest continent energy-wise. So it is difficult to imagine how we can bridge that gap if we do not employ all the sources of fuel. That is the energy mix approach. Coal, nuclear, hydro, and renewables.
Yeah.
So we believe the idea of an energy mix is the right way to go.
Yeah. Let's focus a bit on nuclear and talk about the key problems that are associated with using nuclear energy.
Well, with any technology, there are challenges, but the issue is how do we manage that challenge? Just with transport and walking across the road, there are challenges. You cannot then say, because you've got challenges, you say, how do we put in the rules in place? The nuclear industry is one of the most regulated industries. We self-regulate as well as regulated internationally in terms of our operations. We've been operating Quebec for the past 33 years. We've not had any incident. We've been operating a nuclear facility at Pelindaba for over 50 years. We've not had any incident. So we've got a track record in this country of running nuclear.
All right. So when we're talking about a place right now, a country where we're using 90%, and 90% of our energy that's coming in is from coal, what viable alternatives then are there to using nuclear energy and reducing our carbon footprint? Because that's also a point of consideration, our carbon footprint.
That is the issue. The issue here is base load electricity, the kind of electricity that you can dispatch at 2 a.m. in the morning when the sun is not shining, the kind of energy that you can dispatch when the wind is not blowing. That is what we call base load electricity. So in this country, unfortunately, our choices are limited to coal and nuclear. But because we are committed to lowering our carbon footprint, it looks like we've got no choice but we have to invest a lot in the nuclear.
Yeah.
But as I said from the beginning, we have to have an energy mix.
Yeah. And then just lastly, what are the prospects of nuclear energy being implemented on a home ground basis as a part of, or a major part of the supply of our energy? What do we, timeline-wise?
Time-wise is difficult to say because there's been, because of the recent court case, we believe it just set us back a little bit, but it's difficult to say because the process is not really in the hands of the industry. But we believe that the Minister of Energy, the new Minister of Energy, is applying her mind and she will address the issues so that we can start as soon as possible. We should have started this a long time ago. We are long overdue. All the blackouts that we experienced from 2008 onwards, we should not have done this. We should have had this in place a long time ago. We should have implemented new nuclear power plants yesterday.
All right. Well, thank you very much for joining us, Mr. Msebenzi. At the end of the day, when these plans are initiated and implemented, I think it is all our hope that they will be for the service of the people and, of course, to advance South Africa and the African continent. Thank you very much for joining us.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Mr. Knox Msebenzi, the Director at the South African Nuclear Industry Association, who's joining us this morning.